Well, I said it yesterday in the video I made about Mo that the Internet Invitational was over unless Paige came out and said something for the first time. And Paige has come out and said something for the first time. She just posted a slew of Instagram stories. It was like an Ask Me Anything. So we're going to go through them. It was like 30 minutes ago she posted them. So we're going to go through them. I haven't watched all of them. I watched like the first two, and I was like, I'm just going to make a video and react to these. So yeah, we're going to jump right into it. Without further ado, Paige addressing the cheating allegations, the everything about the Invitational. Again, keep in mind, this is the first time that she's talked since all this happened. So like the very first time she's addressed anything. So I think it's definitely worth watching and talking about and reacting to. So let's get into it.
I mean, look, it's been an interesting week and a half, to say the least, but I just want to thank everyone for reaching out, asking me how I'm doing. All of the support really means so much to me. I
will say this response style, very on brand. Like Paige's content is very produced. It's very like thought out. It's very, Instagram, it's like very produced. Like it's not raw really. And like, so I wouldn't have expected her to like come out and do an interview or something like that. Like talking for 30 minutes, an hour about this uninterrupted, there's a lot of opportunity to maybe say something you don't want to say. And I'm going to assume Paige didn't want to risk that after everything. She kind of wanted this all down. She probably felt like she needed to address it, but doing it in this format is like a much more guaranteed way of like, she can watch it back. She can make sure she didn't say anything. She can re-record. Whereas like doing an interview with someone like me, it's like riskier for sure. But on the flip side, it has a lot more impact. People will respond better to what seems like more authenticity. So typically people doing long form responses to stuff like this is going to do better for like public persona or like audience like belief than something like this would. But this is very on brand for her. So I totally understand why she decided to do it. I still think it probably would have maybe been better to, and not even just me, like, I don't care, go on Mr. Short Games podcast, like whoever, like just like in general, I think a longer form thing might have done a bit better, kind of like what Mo did. But there's nothing wrong with this. I'm interested to see what she has to say.
I've been able to do some really cool things with work throughout this time, and Thanksgiving is right around the corner, so I'm excited to hang out with my family. Since I just talked about Thanksgiving, I haven't really talked about it because there's not much to say about the situation, honestly. I am painfully embarrassed that I did not know this rule, especially after the crappy comment I made to Francis about competitive golf. The irony is not lost on me, but I would never intentionally cheat. In all of my years of playing golf, I have never been accused of cheating. I went to identify the golf ball. When I did, I pushed some grass to the side, and then a couple feet back, I pushed some grass aside. I never stomped down the grass. And I thought that high grass was like a loose impediment. If the ball didn't move, the lie didn't change, the grass didn't bend or break or get ripped out of the ground, then it was totally within the rules. There were so many cameras on me, so many people around me. I mean, to blatantly cheat with that many people around, that many cameras around would be insane. So
it would be insane. And I think that's why a lot of people were so shocked at what she did, because it looked so like she just like walked up there. Like she walked up there kind of quickly and did it, which maybe looked like she was trying to like get away before anyone saw her. But like, I don't think so. Like, I think she walked up quickly and did it because she's in the heat of a match and she's all like into what's going on. And, you know, she's like, all right, get the number or whatever. Like, I think I believe her, because like, again, she like, her reaction in the moment, she was so upset about being accused of being a cheater, whereas Mo, like, what, I don't say he wasn't so upset, he didn't react the same way, you know. So it's like, even just off that, like, I feel like her, you know, the chances of people believing this out of her are probably higher, because also like, she really reacted in a way where it kind of did look like she didn't know, but it didn't look like, oh no, I got caught, because like, how surprised would you have been to get caught in that situation? Like, not very. Like, there were so many cameras around, so many people watching you. It looked more like, you know, genuine to this, which is like, oh my goodness, I didn't realize I couldn't do that. Which again, she said she's embarrassed about the amount of time she's played golf, and then the irony of the Francis comment, which again, to me, that's still the craziest part of this whole thing, is like doing that right after the Francis comment. But you know, I don't know. I kind of maybe believe her. Like, not even maybe. I think I do believe her. I do believe that, like, she just, because like her logic of like, if the ball doesn't move, because like, yeah, I think if you're, and I'm not a golf rules guy, but if you're in like pine straw or like wood chips, like you can move stuff, loose impediments from around the ball to get it out of the way, as long as it doesn't move the ball. So like her saying like she thought long grass was a loose impediment, which like just by definition, it's not loose. It's stuck into the ground. It's not loose. Like that's the definition of loose is loose. You can pick it up, move it away. So like right there in the definition, it's like already flawed of like, you know, she's like, as long as you don't break it, whatever, but it's like you're still moving a non-loose impediment, which you can't do. But she's saying she didn't know, and so it's hard to believe her, but I believe her, if that makes sense. It's like, I don't understand how you don't know that or like can't put those two together, but we're all human, so.
I made a mistake. I learned now it was a rules infraction, and I'll never do it again. So the last week.
And also, let me just say, like, a rules infraction in golf, like, and you genuinely don't know that's rules infraction. If you're in a real tournament, you just get like a penalty. Like, you might get a stroke penalty, maybe two. Like, you're not DQ'd from the event because you act like on the PGA Tour, people like will do things and be like, well, that's against the rule, and they'll be like, well, I didn't know, and then like whatever. Like, it happens. Like, golf is a lot of weird rules, and so it's not like if you were in an actual tournament, it would be nowhere near the drama of this barstool thing for sure.
This week and a half has been probably the worst hate I've ever received in the 10 years of me doing this. I'm talking tens of thousands of death threats, people telling me to kill myself, the most vile, horrendous stuff you could ever say to an individual. That's been in my DMs. I mean, to the point where, you know, we were discussing me having to potentially get a restraining order. I mean, it's like serious stuff. It's not easy, and it hasn't been easy. And I know people are wondering why I haven't posted her or why I haven't talked about it. I just needed to remove myself for my mental health. One thing that I really struggle with is wanting to be liked and accepted, and I don't want anyone to never dislike me. And I always try to do everything I can to like have people like me. And so it's just hard for me as a person with how I process things. And then obviously the situation has not been easy either. But luckily having a good support system, family around, and just trying to like stay distracted.
Yeah, it checks out. I mean, I think it's so interesting because she has clearly, like she just admitted, like issues with the hate internally, like mental issues with it that she's been dealing with, like, you know, that are beyond just, oh, you've been doing it for 10 years, you should be used to it by now. Like, really entrenched things. So you feel for her in that sense. But I think my knee jerk has always been like, oh, you've been doing this for 10 years and you're not exactly creating like the most likable content ever. Like, there's naturally going to be people who hate this genre of content. Like, it's just, you can't get away from it. Like, women are going to hate it for certain reasons. Men are going to hate it for certain reasons. Like, it's a very polarizing style of content. So you'd be like, well, you'd think you'd be used to it by now. But hearing, I mean, tens of thousands of, if that's accurate, tens of thousands, that's crazy. Like, that's crazy. Like, that's similar to what Garrett said about people who are like messaging Mo's parent stuff. It's like, it is like scum of the earth type stuff. I mean, no like happy person is doing that. No like sane person is doing that. I know 10,000 people sounds like a lot, but she has 4 million followers. So like, it is a very small percentage of people, but it's a lot of people. I'm not trying to downplay how many people it is and the impact it would have on her. But like what I'm trying to say is like, it's, you know, it's always a vocal minority of crazy people. So I feel for her in that. But that's intense. It's intense.
Between a lot of the hate messages, it's like, go kill yourself. And the next one's like, where did you get your white outfit that you wore in the finale and your sunglasses? So I got my white outfit. No. It's interesting that you say this because I have seen pros shimmy themselves back into a tree and they'll move a branch to the side just where their body is. And I think that's fine as long as you don't break a branch. But I thought that was the same with the grass. And I've also seen pros do what I did. So I was just really confused. And I just haven't played competitive golf. I know competitive golfer in such a long time that I can't 100%.
It's funny that she's leaning into the Francis thing because that's the most, to me, the most like crazy thing of the whole thing. But I mean, fair point. I've seen that too. And like, I think maybe there's like some level of like, yeah, if you're like, you kind of like do as much as you can without a rules infraction. And worst case, if you get called for a rules infraction, you're going to get like a penalty. But if you're in a really terrible spot, you're probably like thinking about taking a drop anyways. And I don't know. So maybe that's what is happening. But also, like, I don't know who she's referring to. Pro golfer, there could be a lot of people. It could be a Patrick Reed for sure. But I think she's probably just referring to more like general pro golfers. But anyway, that's an interesting one. Justification for it. And again, I don't fault her for thinking maybe that was okay, because I can see how her brain would go there, especially if she's like never. And I think most Americans, correct me if I'm wrong, like the long grass is more of a link style thing, like the real long wispy style grass. So maybe she, hasn't experienced that a ton. So anyway.
It's essentially a golf reality show mixed with Survivor, and it's supposed to be drama filled and entertaining. It's not supposed to be a traditional golf event. The difference is, as a player, we have no context. We have no idea what's really going on because we're locked in and there was a ton of pressure. But as a viewer, you are getting to see everything in chronological order and you have all of the context. So, for example, on 9, when my thing happened, I wish that instead of everyone talking to everyone else except for me, I wish that someone came up to me and said, "Hey, I think that's against the rules." I then would have had the opportunity to own it and say, "I'm sorry."
Why don't you just calling out Peter Finch here? Uh-oh. Peter Finch.
And then gone up to Brad, Francis, and Beef myself and told him what had happened from my perspective instead of a game of telephone and then it being reported to me on 10. So it's just things like that. But I think that's more of a product of the environment that we were in, and the edit was fair. But again, sometimes you just miss certain things because we didn't have the context and you did. I actually think there were a lot of positives, and I'm doing my best to really try to focus on those right now.
She might address in a second here, but I wonder if she would go back and do it again. Like anyone who had drama, Mo, Luke, Paige, like they're going to be top of the list for people Barstool wants to invite back. So, and $10 million on the line. We'll see. But I wonder if she would go back because I think Luke and Mo would go back in a heartbeat because they don't care. Paige has expressed many times how much she dislikes getting the intense hate. So would she subject herself to potentially having that happen again?
Right now, I think the first one is people seeing a different side to me. I've kind of found this sweet spot in my content of being self-aware and self-deprecating, and I love doing that. But to show that I can also be smart and competitive and strategic, I think was fun. Also, the amount of people that I have created a lifelong bond with, the amount of people who have reached out to me from that event who have just said so many kind things about my character and they've had my back really has meant so much to me. I think sometimes this industry can feel very isolating, especially among women, because we are kind of pitted against each other. And so just the bond that has been created because of this event and really just having each other's backs because we know who we are, and to like support them through, tough times, I think has been, really, really positive. I was beyond heartbroken when I heard the news about Beef. He was such a genuine, kind, just sweet soul, and it's such a loss for this world. I didn't know him all that well, but at the Invitational, he would walk into a room and just light it up with so much positivity. Every time he said something, he just made such a positive impact on everyone around him, and I think we can all strive to be more like Beef because he was such a good person. My best advice is to just start. So I think that is all for today. Thank you so much for all of your questions and for just being super cool, kind human beings. And I hope that you all have a wonderful...
All right, there it is. Listen, that's the response. I wanted to share it. I think it would have been better to, and again, it's easy for me to say because I'm one of the places she would have gone to do this, but like genuinely, I believe that like doing something long form may have worked just like gently better. People are still like people who don't. The reality is, people who don't like you on the internet are gonna not like you pretty much no matter what. I feel like maybe a few more people would have less to say if it felt maybe a bit more. I don't even want to say authentic because I think this is authentic to her brand and how she does things. So like I don't know. You're picking it apart at this point. Like, I think it's, she came on, she said what she needed to say. I honestly thought she might just never address it. I think it was good that she did. But yeah, I'm just like nitpicking what I think people would maybe nitpick. It's my job is to kind of talk about these things and think through all the different possibilities and discuss them. But I think overall, she did a good thing by addressing it. I think her explanation of the grass thing is going to be 50-50 to whether people like are okay with it or not. I get it. I do believe that she genuinely just made a mistake. And I can see her logic and why she thought it was okay. And also, like, if you were playing a casual round of golf and you, like, genuinely weren't sure if that's your ball, like, that's exactly how you would go in and check it. In a tournament, you might, like, call a rules official over and be like, hey, I just want to identify this in my ball and, like, let them watch you do it. That's the only thing she might have missed. So Anyways, that's it, guys. Comment your thoughts down below. I want to share that with you. Have a good day. Bye.